Unlike many Pokemon players, I've never completed a Nuzlocke. And while I've attempted a couple, I've only failed time and time again. But I decided that I want to change that. I'm not only going to be Nuzlocking, but I'm going to be Nuzlocking the hardest Pokemon game, Pokemon Rogue. Not only to just play the game and have a fun time and whatever, no. I'm going to be completing my first Nuzlocke today. Since this was my first Nuzlocke, I would come up with some standard rules. My first one being no legendaries, no mythicals, and no ultra beasts. I played the game a lot recently and have unlocked Pokemon like Kyogre and Groudon. It will remove a lot of the challenge in this game if I were to use them, so I banned them. Next, I will bring back the rule from my first video, that being if my Pokemon faints, they die and I would have to release them. Finally, I would only catch the first Pokemon every 10 levels. This rule will be set unless on the off chance that I found a shiny, and in that case, I would allow myself to catch and use it. I would lead off with Snivy, my second Pokemon would be Litwick, my third would be Tinkaton, and oh yeah, Zigzagoon, just because. And from there, I would start on my first real Nuzlocke. So let's see if I can complete this. The first Pokemon I would catch is Lechonk. I would kill my first actual Pokemon found by accident, but anyway. I wasn't very happy about finding Lechonk, especially with the idea that I could find an Abra on this route. And I could have gotten an Abra. Alright, my bad. But to be honest, we ball. I continued on speeding through the gym leader Clean's entire team, cleaning out every Pokemon bro had. And after that, this would be my next encounter. Lake. They gave me a turtle! You're kidding me! I wasn't very happy about this encounter at all. What I really wanted was like a Wartortle or like a Magikarp here because of how good their evolutions are later into this game. But I guess I'm now stuck with a silly looking one-toothed turtle. One rival battle beat down later, I would clear through her team and then I would encounter the boss Pokemon of this area, Frogadier, where I would complain for a bit and then OHKO it. I would then catch a Croconaw and replace Tootle, thank God! And then I would encounter something pretty big, that being Haunter. Graveyard. Haunter? This Pokemon is amazing, but we'll talk more about that later. For now, I will battle Gym Leader Morty and I would fry his entire team with Contrary Superior. Let me go a bit more in depth with that. See, the ability Contrary reverses stat changes, and if you combine that with my egg moves, which do a ton of damage but are supposed to lower my special attack, it actually increases it, doing even more damage. So even with all of those ghost types, Morty would not stand a chance against me. Alright dude, Morty actually got fried. It wasn't even close. This guy is not better than me. Anyways, my Litwick would finally evolve after 41 levels into Lampet. And then Lampet would end up evolving into Chandelure like right after. Alright, I have a living, breathing Chandelier on my team. And now that I had another really good Pokemon on my team, I would sweep through everything. And then I'll eventually encounter the evil team of this run, Team Rocket. And this grunt would only be the beginning of what I would have to face later into this run. But for now, I would take out this grunt and any other grunt one by one, sweeping through all of their teams. I would then evolve my Haunter into Gengar and pass the rest of the cave with ease. It was only when I got to the lake where there would be a problem. See, this was supposed to be a free gym leader, the easiest fight of my life, and that's just not what happened. See, I got walled by this stupid dumb penguin and even lost my Gengar in the process. I barely won this fight, but like, you know what? We balled, dude. Easiest fight of my life. It wasn't even close. Yes! That was so scary. That was scary. That was dangerously scary. That was a little too scary. After that nightmare gym leader though, I would be rewarded with the easiest rival battle of all time. I literally swept through her entire team. It wasn't even close. But beating that rival battle would be the first checkpoint of this Nuzlocke. See, stages 100 and beyond would be where the game really starts to ramp up, increasing a ton in difficulty. And that would show in the first major fight I would have that being Team Rocket leader Giovanni. The fight would start off fast, with Giovanni switching into his Marowak and me having to tank a fire-type flame charge. But I would end up killing it with clinging skills, and I was gonna be +1 special attack with +2 defense. So I stuck with Superior, and one by one, Giovanni's Pokemon would fall while my stats only went up, one-shotting his ace Pokemon and sweeping through the rest of his team. That was super easy. Wasn't this supposed to be difficult? It must be a fluke, right? So after some more battling, you know, because that's all you do in this game, just battle and battle and battle and battle. Second rival battle, woo! Okay, so Ivy's team is Swampert, it's Volcarona, Rayquaza, some irrelevant Pokemon, Swallow, Haxorus. And so what I would do is switch into Feraligatr, predicting that she would switch into Volcarona, and then she would switch right into Rayquaza, where I would use Ice Fang. Ice Fang. Oh, so good at this game! There was an issue though. While my plan went perfectly, Rayquaza still had multiple HP bars and still had an insane attack stat. I would have to get really lucky to kill this thing. So in a last Hail Mary, I would be ready to sacrifice my Feraligatr so I could do the most damage possible. Outrage. Ice Fang. Oh my! Me getting that freeze was just fucking insane. I genuinely think I would have lost this entire run if I didn't get that. I wasn't out of this battle yet though. I still needed to deal with the rest of Ivy's team that could absolutely end this run. Coming down to the point where I would have to sack my Excadrill for a good clean switch into Lanoon, where I would then take out Ivy Swellow, then going on to sweep the rest of her team with my Superior. My goodness. Dude, that read at the beginning was so good! Defeating my rival and getting one step closer to completing this Nuzlocke. My next encounter will be Vanillux, and while it isn't all that great, I actually don't mind. Sheer Cold! Go away. Go away. We're not doing no Sheer Cold action over here, bro. None of that. Shame on you. Oh, okay. Never mind. My bad. The next actual Pokemon I would catch would be Weavile. See, I was thinking long term with this decision because I wanted to have another Ice type to deal with Mega Rayquaza and Eternus when I got to that point. Plus, you know, since this guy was actually scared of Sheer Cold Vanillux, I guess we couldn't catch that. With my new party member Weavile on the team, I would continue on until I was challenged by Giovanni for the second time. What are you doing here? Giovanni led with Tyranitar while I led with Superior. I would then get blasted by Stone Edge Crit that pretty much just left me on death's door. After killing Tyranitar, I would need to switch out my Superior, you know, so he didn't die. I would then switch into Chandelure where I thought it could potentially deal with Mega Kangaskhan. But due to the ability Parental Bond and me not doing enough damage, I was bound to lose. That's when I was switching to Tinkaton and it would really begin to carry. I was able to get 2 shift gears off due to a misplay on Giovanni's part. Oh my god, wait, he's throwing. I would then one-tap Excadrill and be damaged badly by Gastrodon. He would then switch into Hippowdon, and without thinking, I pressed Magical Torque and it didn't kill. But luckily, I was saved due to confusion. Looking back, I absolutely should have died there, and this one play could have ruined this entire Nuzlocke. But it wasn't over yet. After one-tapping Kangaskhan with Gigaton Hammer, I would attempt to do the same with Mewtwo, but it failed. I was forced to tank a hit from Mewtwo, living at 40 HP, and rather than switching, I decided to use Magical Torque for no reason, and it didn't kill. And while getting lucky during the first close call, that was super lucky in itself. I would get too comfortable, and I guess everybody's luck does come to an end. Not for me though. Oh my god! Tinkaton should have died there. Tinkaton absolutely should have died there. Me getting those 2 confusions might be the luckiest gameplay I've had in Pokemon history. I've never had gameplay like that. The better player just wins. The better player just wins. What can I say? I would then be challenged by Gym Leader Melanie, and it would be a nice change of pace from the tough fight with Giovanni. Go on, crit me, go on, crit me. You won't. I was super confident in this fight, and after setting up 2 shift gears, I would start to sweep her team. But I would be damaged by Mr. Rhyme, leaving me at 54 HP. So after killing it, I would then switch out and finish this gym leader off with Chandelure. Surf! No universe! You have Surf! And while this death sucked and it was super random, I had to continue. My next encounter would be Aggron, and I would catch him just to replace Chandelure. And then I would go on until reaching level 182, where I would be challenged by my first Elite Four member. I would send in Aggron first, but would quickly switch into Tinkaton, and would get absolutely steamrolled by close combat. I would get a major stab boost though due to me equipping a ton of berries, so that's awesome. So while they would switch into Scizor, I would kill it with Pyro Ball and sweep Aaron's entire team with little effort. Clean sweep, Tinkaton. My next Elite Four member would be Bertha? Who the f is this? I've never seen her in my entire life, and I've been playing Pokemon since I was born. Okay, whatever, bro. I sweeped her, bro. It was easy. She's not getting any screen time, bro. Number 1 Bertha hater, bro. I would then face the Fire type Elite Four member Flint. And while most of my team was already weak to Fire types and or had no Water type moves, I had a game plan. Hope my superior could one-shot everything. I'm gonna lose, dog. Anyways, for some ungodly reason, Flint had a Steelix that wasn't even a Fire type. I would take this chance to go ahead and begin setting up my superior, and while he would switch into Armor Rouge and hit me with a sun-boosted stab flamethrower, it was too late though. I set up a +2 special attack, and I would kill Armor Rouge and one-tap Oricorio. I would then get to Flareon where I would hit it, but it didn't one-shot. But it would somehow miss the 95 accuracy move in Heat Wave. From that point, I would switch out Superior and finish off Flint's last couple Pokemon, progressing past what was probably the hardest fight I've had so far. The fact that I just lost no Pokemon. Why did he have a Steelix? That was such a throw. The fact that I lost no Pokemon in that is insanity. The last Elite Four member would be Lucian, and starting off, I would one-tap his Jinx. But in return, my Feraligatr almost exploded, leaving him at 40 HP. So I would need to switch into Superior, and from there, I would sweep the rest of Lucian's team with ease, and I would make it to the Sinnoh region champion, Cynthia. After finally readjusting my camera, I would lead in with Lanoon, but switch immediately into Superior to potentially get some stat boosts. And after +3 special attack, I would kill Spiritomb, and she would send out Giratina. I went for Clanging Scales, but it would leave Giratina at a sliver of HP, and I would need to switch out due to it using Shadow Force, and I know Superior would absolutely implode. From there, we would play the switching game, and a lot of my Pokemon would be hit hard. While I would take out her Lucario, my Tinkaton almost died in the process. Aggron will be sent to half of his HP from a non-super effective Moonblast, and my Weavile is just terrible, so there's that. Genuinely just not. But I would switch back into Superior, knowing that Cynthia would switch into her Garchomp and would get +1 special attack in the process. She would switch back into Giratina, where I would take it out with Clanging Scales. I would take out Togekiss would make it rain, Xatu would make it rain as well, and finish off her Garchomp with Clanging Scales, defeating Cynthia for good and making it to the last 10 levels of this game. Easy work, not even close. My encounter here would be Iron Boulder, but I couldn't catch it due to me not previously owning it. So I would have to skip out on this encounter and defeat every other encounter leading up to my final rival battle. So I had this in game plan as the last rival battle, send in Feraligatr, chip down Rayquaza, and win. But I knew that this was probably going to be Feraligatr's last fight. So with that being said, after 2 Ice Fangs and bringing Rayquaza down to his last HP bar, Feraligatr would fall, and Weavile would finally do something in his life and take it out. Ivy would then switch into Volcarona, where I would need to switch into Lanoon, but while trying to chip it down, I would be taken out by a Fire Blast. It's only when I switched into Superior, getting off 1 Make It Rain and killing Volcarona with Clanging Scales, and one by one, Ivy's team had nothing on my GOAT Superior, and the final rival battle will come to a close. Hold up. Easy. It's not even close. Only leaving Eternus, the only thing standing in front of me and completing this Nuzlocke for good. For Alligator has to go. We have to beat Eternus with 3 Mons. And I don't know how I'm gonna do it, I won't lie. I really don't know. I would finally make it to the last battle of this game. The one thing keeping me away from victory. Eternus. I would start with Superior, but switch right into Tinkaton. See, the reason why I picked Tinkaton in the first place was because it's invulnerable against Eternus, at least in this phase. So, I will begin to spam Gigaton Hammer until Eternus would switch into a second phase. I would hit Eternus hard with Metal Burst, and regardless of me only having 4 Pokemon, I would have high hopes that I could beat Eternus and finally beat my first Nuzlocke. That was until Eternus started to dismantle my team. I would switch out Aggron for Weavile for some reason, and Tinkaton would get taken out by a Flamethrower. I was still doing damage to Eternus, and I only had 3 more health bars to go. That was until he stole my Enigma Berry from me, healing back up, and I only had Superior and Aggron left. But after a Flamethrower on Aggron, it was no use. I will lose my last Pokemon in Superior. Wait, it didn't recharge? Oh my god, I lost at the very end. And while I was so close to winning, I fell short at the very end. I would try this challenge 6 more times, but would lose each time. I was getting close to giving up, but instead, I decided to change up my strategy. So instead of bringing Lanoon or Litwick, I would instead bring Squirtle, who's an all-around great water type, and Ghastly, who's an amazing ghost type with one secret trick that I'll be using to defeat Eternus. With that being said, if I didn't complete this Nuzlocke on this attempt, I don't think I was going to continue on. With that in mind, let's begin. So, after defeating Iris's Reshiram and G-Max Lapras, I would make it back to the last 10 levels. I decided to save some time and not go through the entire adventure, you know, just because you just watched all of it. But my encounter for 190 would be Iron Moth, and this time I was able to catch it. I would replace Tatsugiri and head straight for my rival battle. I would start this battle and switch into Gengar immediately. She would switch into Magmortar and I would one-tap it with Shadow Ball. I would go on to take out Noctowl and she would send in her Miltank. I was switching to Iron Moth, knowing that it would be scrappy from the previous battles I've had with her, and she had a Revival Seed. I would get paralyzed in the process and would need to switch again. And then I would read the switch into Rayquaza by using Clanging Scales. And then after switching some more, I'm getting tired of talking about all the switches in this battle. I would take out her Miltank, then force out her Rayquaza, but would need to sack Iron Moth for a good switch. I would then switch into Superior and take a risky and overall unnecessary play. What? Iron Moth died for nothing. Okay, this guy's throwing. From that point on, I would clean up the rest of Ivy's team, and with only Eternus left and 5 remaining Pokemon, well, 5 until this happened. Let's go. A shiny. Oh, that's not real. Finding that was unbelievably lucky. I calculated it and it was around 1 in 75,000. So unless my calculation was wrong, that's crazy to find in the wild. And now having a full team again, I couldn't have been more prepared to face Eternus once and for all. First phase will play out exactly the same, where I would break Eternus down with Tinkaton. It's only when he reached the second phase where my plan would start. See, Gengar's one trick was to use the move Curse, and this move works differently for multiple Pokemon, but Gengar's Curse would half his HP, so it could do constant damage to his opponent. I would start to stall, and breaking down Eternus, it would attempt to heal, but it meant absolutely nothing to Curse. Once it started, it will not stop until this guy is gone. So with that being said, after doing enough damage, this would happen. Okay, literally one more turn. Yeah! Yes! Oh My goodness. Yeah! Dude, my hand is shaking. Holy, I cannot oh my god. I can't believe it. I'm genuinely so happy I just won that. As an official Nuzlocke, beating my first Nuzlocke on the hardest Pokemon game I have ever played. I might have said this in the video, but I'll say it again. We've reached 311 subscribers and my past 2 videos have done amazing. One's at 10,000 views, that's kind of nuts. The other one is at 1,000 views, that's also kind of nuts. And things have just been going really well, so I appreciate everyone for the support. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.